Yo, what up? My name is Don, and today we're going to be checking out a video by Ubisoft, which goes a little bit deeper into the thought processes of the developers for their trailer, which dropped just 2 days ago for their game Assassin's Creed Shadows. If you haven't been paying attention, this game is really contentious in the community, and I'm going into it with a bit of a neutral mindset. I'm just looking to see if the game is good. I obviously do have a kind of likeness with the hair to the main character and everything, but I'm not trying to start any cultural wars or anything. But we'll see what developers have to say about their trailer. So without further ado, let's hop right in and see what's all about.
Hello, this is Akeem Milne, the Assistant Director of Cinematic Design on
Hello, Akeem.
Assassin's Creed Shadows.
What's up,
And
friend?
I'm Jonathan Dumont, Creative Director of Assassin's Creed Shadows. And today we're going to take a look at our reveal trailer of Assassin's Creed Shadows.
From the beginning, we really wanted to try to create this atmosphere of danger, so we're getting glimpses of our shinobi protagonist, Naue, as she chases down a target through the shadows. We want it to feel as though she has complete control over her environment, and a real homage to old ninja films where we just get like little glimpses of her in the background. Not really sure what we're seeing. And finally, we get her incredible reveal here.
Um, yeah, I just want to say the trailer I thought was pretty amazing. Obviously, I get excited anytime we get to see trailers. Video game trailers are always gorgeous and really build the hype for the game within. You always just want to, you always like get that feeling. Is the trailer just like overselling the game? Like, is the game actually going to look that good? Or, you know what I mean? But a lot of these triple A titles, because I mean, Ubisoft holds themselves to that standard. Like those are the quality of games that they should be pushing out. I'm not talking about like if people like it or not. I'm talking about like visual fidelity and stuff like that. They are AAA titles, so the game's gonna look gorgeous regardless. But here we go.
Cloaked in shadows.
Naui is from Iga. She is a farmer warrior, daughter of Fujibayashi Nagato.
Okay, hold on. Fuji Bayashi Nagato. If that's a real person, it's reminding me of Ujio from The Last Samurai. And for some reason, The Last Samurai is one of my, I guess, favorite modern-ish, even though it's quite old now, I guess. One of my favorite modern-ish, just t- Hollywood-ish, I guess, takes on showing me samurai. And there's probably better, more authentic, definitely samurai movies. And I don't know how true that story was either about uh, Nathan Algren. Um, I'm pretty sure is Tom Cruise's character's name in that movie. How he kind of uh came to integrate with the samurai in that movie at least, right? And I know it's just a movie, so I'm not saying that's real at all. All I'm saying is that this character on the screen, Fuji Bayashi Nagata, reminds me of Ujio from that movie, and I just think that movie's pretty cool. So here we go.
She is a capable person, let's say that. As we are going to learn in the trailer, she will be taking on a role of protector.
You almost said too much. Role of protector.
All I have ever known in my life.
What we're looking at is the province of Iga, the homeland of Naui. It's isolated a little bit in the mountains, and they were home of the shinobi. They come from here, or at least a portion of them come from here. And the interesting thing is, once we traveled to Japan and we visited this province, it came very clear how that world came together. Like, so it's sort of isolated in the mountains, sort of kept to itself. It's a very good representation, in my opinion, of that place.
Our land. Our customs.
It's funny. After watching, just going to put it right back here. After watching the Last Samurai, so many years ago, that album, that's the musical score to that movie, which is written by Hans Zimmer, large in part to Hans Zimmer. I'm not sure if there's any other contributors, probably is obviously, but Hans Zimmer is the composer on that album, and like so many other movies and other scores and other cinematic masterpieces that Hans Zimmer is attached to. Even from when I was a kid, he even worked on The Lion King. Like, um, Interstellar is Hans Zimmer. There's so many big movies that he's worked on, and the music in The Last Samurai really, I have goosebumps now. I literally have goosebumps now talking about it because it just brings me back to just a maybe it's just a place in my head. You know what I mean? That I'm just I attach the visual scenes that I remember from The Last Samurai to seeing like a place like this, like Iga, like they're talking about here, in the movie, and you know, like I said, I'm trying to stay away from this whole like DEI wokeism fight, blah 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 blah. I just want to, I guess, experience in a game format more about feudal Japan. And I understand people are mad about, it's a black character. He wasn't a samurai. Um he was a conscript, or he was this and that. I don't I don't I don't I'm not here to argue until I'm blue in the face. I'm just here to see if the game is good and see if I want to buy an Assassin's Creed game, considering I haven't played one since Assassin's Creed Black Flag. And I'm sorry, we being me and my girlfriend did try that new MMO that they have that I honestly can't even remember the name of. So somebody dropped the name for me down in the comments below. It's Assassin's Creed, the MMO. It's literally an MMO, but it's not really an MMO because there's more loading screens than there is just free trial. I don't know. It's an odd one, but a lot of the MMO is like you actually being out in your ship. So when you're out in your ship on the sea, it's so much fun. But the actual like traveling around and doing MMO things in an open world is kind of janky. So, anyways, that's the one that just came out in the last like year or two or whatever. Here we go.
And our customs. My family burns in the name of unification.
So what we're seeing here are the troops of Oda Nobunaga. In 1579, there was the first attack from Oda Nobunaga's clan, and then in 1581, there was a second attack, a much more violent one, where
First attack on Iga by the Oda Nobunaga clan. So I'm not going to try and flex any history like I know for a fact. Um, I know my brain keeps going back to a movie, The Last Samurai. I understand it's a fictional writing. That's just what my brain goes back to because like it's the one thing I think about when I start thinking about samurai. I'm just like that movie just pops up in my head every time. Um, this game, regardless of it making people mad or not, is gonna probably get me to read a lot more into feudal Japan history and kind of start getting a collection of uh, like facts that I can corroborate so I can kind of start to discern what is more the truth and what isn't when it comes down to these more uh, parts of history that are more, make people argue back and forth that are a bit more, maybe how should I say, contentious that that they're whether they're true or not. So, anyways, it was at least they're saying here 1579 is the first attack on Iga by the Oda Nobunaga clan, and then in 1581, only 2 years later, there was a second attack on Iga. Damn.
Iga got crushed. And what we're seeing here is the Oda troops marching into the province of Iga.
Bringing split screen into the trailer was part of our attempt at formulating an homage towards a lot of Japanese media and culture. And so we try to incorporate some of that style into the game as well. It's reflected in a lot of our cutscenes and cinematics. And we thought it'd be really cool to bring that on as early as possible. And so we pushed for it in the reveal trailer as well. It allowed
Bro, I just have massive goosebumps, right? I'm not sure if it's so much about the game rather than it being about I want to say that I approach learning about Japanese culture with the ultimate respect, and it's just like it's call me ignorant as in uneducated about I know very little. Right? So I'm open to learn and I'm open to have positive discussion around it. And I hope that in my comments or the content I make around this game or the trailers or the developers talking about it or whatever, that I don't attract this audience that just wants to hate for the sake of hating or just wants to argue for the sake of arguing. Like that's just not where I come in. So um I feel like it's gonna get to a point where like maybe this game is so maybe not universally, but it is angering a lot of people. I don't want it to come to a point where it's like, oh, uh, I feel a little bit weird as a black person, right? With a lot of the issue of the game being like, the wokeism of, oh, you just wanted to stick another, black person or minority person in a game about Japanese culture when it should have a Japanese or otherwise Asian protagonist, right? Um, I don't know. I don't know how to have that conversation. I think it gets a bit muddy. I'm just gonna be like, okay, like I don't have any I don't have any argument in me around that. Um, I just think that I just want to appreciate the art style. I just want to appreciate that, you know, I don't know if another company does it better, great, and that doesn't want to focus on the character Yasuke, whether he was a real samurai or not, great. You know what I mean? I just want a good game that looks pretty and is set in feudal Japan, and yeah. Continuing on.
Allows us to kind of show off both protagonists at various points in their lives and how maybe that relationship can change over time.
When we have Yasuke that turns around and says,
You are still a frog in a well, who knows nothing of the sea.
it is a proverb from Japan. For us, sort of resonates with both their journey as they open their eyes or know a little bit more. Things are not necessarily as they seem, and that's sort of a driving force for them. That's what is going to unite Naoe and Yasuke. That's something that's bigger.
The ocean's filled with new ships.
So here we're in Sakai, a big port in Japan. The ships that we are seeing are Portuguese ships. They are a version of the black ships or a lot of the merchant ships that were coming in and out of Japan at this point. A few came to Sakai, but mostly in Nagasaki. But for the sake of the trailer, it's happening in Sakai.
Greed.
The person we're seeing on screen is Oda Nobunaga. So he is known for being one of the three great unifiers of Japan. A very polarizing character, depending on which side you were.
We're seeing Yasuke's first audience here with Oda Nobunaga, and one of the reasons why this meeting could even happen is due to Oda's deep relations with the Portuguese through trade.
Okay, so hold on, let me just go back. This still of uh Oda Nobunaga uh looks real. I'm just saying the trailer looked absolutely gorgeous. Video game trailers have always been the pinnacle of cinematic eye gooey awesomeness in video gaming. But I mean, like, damn, am I really impressed with the trailer? It looked really good, man. I love it when even as a still here, I'm like, damn, that looks real. It looks like it's a literal, like I paused a movie. It looks that good.
This meeting could even happen is due to Oda's deep relations with the Portuguese through trade, which resulted in him becoming quite a force to reckon with when it came to the use of Teppo. All this to
Teppo.
say, Oda Nobunaga is an incredibly powerful figure at the time, very important to our story as well.
So I don't know what Teppo is, but I am open to if somebody wants to give me, you know, what is that? A little rundown of that in the comments if you know what that is. Of course, I will probably Google it sometime after releasing this video and follow up on that. But if somebody wants to do me the favor of educating my little self in the comments, I'm down, man. Yeah, the
There
dreads
are a
look
lot
so
of
good. The hair looks
speculation
so good.
about Yasuke's arrival in Japan.
Okay, hold on. Yes, there is a lot of speculation about his arrival in Japan. That's what half the gaming community and otherwise, people are mad about. I just want to stop for a second. Can I just talk about video dreadlock hair specifically in video games? Diablo 4 is a game that just kind of got resurrected, for lack of a better word, with the season 4 update, and it just came out 2 days ago. Already hit level 100. Yeah, let's go. So that's awesome. But the hair in that game, they have a dreadlock style as well. And I'm always curious to see how games do dreadlock style because some games do it really kind of bad. Or I'm just getting the detail, I should say, in specifically dreadlock hairstyle is getting much better in games. And I'm just like, yeah. And I know this is a cinematic trailer. I got you. But even for the trailer, they look really good. Like they really paid attention to the um just how dreadlocks are, the kinks in them, everything. Like look at this on this little side of his head, this kink right here. This little how this dread kinks down. And you can see it like it right in my head. Like dreads just do what they want, right? They just want to kink any which way. So um I just really appreciate that little factoid, and I'm like, "Yeah, dude." I feel bad at this point that I'm getting attached to a character just because of the idea that he's representative of me, and it's less about the skin color. I'm fairly light, he's fairly dark, whatever, whatever. Uh, I'm like, samurais I like. I got dreads like he's got dreads, cool. Dread samurai's cool, whatever. So, do I like the idea that a character that's somewhat looks like me is represented in the game? Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Does it honestly change my experience of the game? Probably not. Honestly, probably not. The protagonist could have been if they had picked an Asian character, like in video games or movies in the past, I've never had a problem getting into characters that don't look like me. You know what I mean? Like I've never been like, "Oh, um, it's another, white character I have to play as. It's another such and such character." I've never I don't care. You know what I mean? It's just I like the character for who they are. And there's only there's a few specific examples I can think of where um I think a character's skin color is is even a it, like for most characters it doesn't even come into the conversation. Okay, how about this? The Incredible Hulk is green. I'm gonna choose him because he's not white, black, whatever. The Incredible Hulk is green, right? It would be weird, and I think there's multiple versions of the Hulk and whatever. There may be like a blue, pink, purple, blue, whatever Hulk, but the Hulk is green, right? That's what everybody knows. 99% of we all know that's how we know him, right? And so, what if they just wanted to make the Hulk, you know, Nyan cat colored rainbow pattern, right? Like, what if they wanted to make him every color? What if they wanted to make him like fuchsia or something? Like, I think people's initial reaction would be WTF, right? Because it's more about I think at least it's more about you took something that we're used to, and I get there's a lot more. This more depicts real life, right? We have black people in real life, we have Asian people in real life. Japanese is a real culture and a real Japan's a real place, and so when I'm taking my example of the Hulk, I'm just trying to say that I understand how it can definitely bother people, including myself, when you take something that's just not I guess what would be the suggested obvious, right? Like if I make a character with if I make some sort of story with I'm using the Hulk in my story, I'd want to pay homage to the Hulk being green, or I'm not going to make Superman a black dude all of a sudden, or you know, James Bond has always been a white British dude. I think British or English for dude, right? And so uh, the actor, the black dude, I forget his name, Edris Ilba, that's his name. Oh, thank goodness, brain, you worked. Thanks, guy. Um, him wanting to be 007, a little odd to me, to be completely honest, even as a black dude. You know, 14 out of 15 James Bonds have been white English dudes. That's just how I see the character. If all Supermans have been white dudes, that's just how I see the character. I don't think there's certain characters that I don't think they're going to try that, you know, if you want to call it wokeism or whatever. I don't where's Black Superman coming from? And I don't think I don't you know what I'm saying? Um, are we making Black Panther a white dude all of a sudden? You get what I'm saying? Like there's certain characters that just it feels weird, yeah? So with this one, a black samurai being one of the protagonists, I don't want to call him savior, but one of the protagonists as far as the narrative direction of the game goes, being a black dude, um for me, I don't even think of the skin color thing other than to go, well, how did a black dude get to Japan in that time? That's kind of where I'm at because even without them putting Yasuke into the protagonist role in this game, I would have still been like, even if I came across this information in a TikTok video or some random YouTube video, I have still been like, black dude samurai in feudal Japan, what? Or like, black dude conscript in feudal Japan, like how did that work? Or even just black dude in Japan, how did he get there? Like how? Right? So I would have those same questions outside the context of the game, and I just want to open up a conversation and just I want to respect Japanese culture, of course. Um, I just don't want to get ripped apart for being not educated on some things, right, about this whole game right now. So let's continue on.
The most common one is that Yasuke came in a couple of years before this meeting, and he learned Japanese quite fast, and he was very fluent into the Japanese culture, and it impressed Oda. So his stature, of course, impressed Oda. He was seen as super big. His skin color was one thing as well, that the reports on the Chronicle of Oda say that was the first African man that Oda had ever seen. Oda asked him to stay with him, and this is what we know pretty much of the story of Yasuke. So there are a couple of elements that we will see also in the game that are historical reports of his presence, but then after that there's quite a bit of an interesting what if with him that will happen.
Okay, so I can respect there how they basically try to cement what they know, which isn't a lot, right? That he Yasuke apparently came to Japan right before the scene where we're seeing him meet uh, Oda. Is it Nobunaga? Nobunaga? Yeah, but right before he meets the main dude there, um, and it doesn't. It literally the words did not come out of his mouth about Oda made Yasuke a samurai right away, and you know what I mean. Like nothing says that, so you can probably discern yourself. You can probably just kind of draw the line yourself, um, pretty confidently about where they are embellishing their story, where they're taking what little fact they know and kind of weaving it into what they do know about Japan. So I would say they would have more historical stuff to pull from about just Japan and that time in general, but not enough information on Yasuke in general. So them kind of, I guess, inserting him into the main protagonist role is obviously what's bothering people. Um, Again, I'm just looking for a good game, so I'm not trying to get under anybody's skin or anything. Let's carry on.
There's quite a bit of an interesting what if with him that will happen.
Power.
I love samurai
The initial volley,
armor.
this is a
Love it.
concept that we had very early on. This really cool idea of the initial reveal of Yasuke emerging from the gun smoke. To us, that really ties him to Oda's battle style, and as probably one of the most important people to Oda in our game specifically. And what we're seeing here is a battle between the Oda clan and another rival clan.
Ridiculous, bro. So in The Last Samurai, goosebumps, right? Just because I think massive goose. Look at these. Look at these. Look at these. I normally get these in like intense movie moments or when I'm listening to a song or something. But one of the war scenes in The Last Samurai is literally this. They're in the forest and they do such a good job in the movie of the smoke and just the ominous, like, dude, my goosebumps are literally like chills are running down my entire body. They do such a good job of the ominous, eerie, otherworldly, um, kind of vibe that's the smoke and the fog gives off, and then you hear um, I think it's like just these high pitched, maybe like flute sounds, these high pitched flute sounds, and it's just so ominous. I'm like, dude, if I heard that in a forest before war where I couldn't see the samurai, they're already intimidating enough. Like their armor is, I think, meant to be intimidating itself, and like some of the coolest armor I've ever seen in my life, if not the coolest to me. Uh, and God, that just you know I need to go watch that movie or just that scene again, even though the movie's like 15 plus years old or something by now, because that will forever send goosebumps up my body. Forever.
As a big part of the unification was taking down some of these rival clans for territory. What we see is Yasuke cutting people down with a great deal of ease. These are all moves that are going to be in the game. We specifically made sure all the choreography shown in the trailer are all taken directly from gameplay itself.
That's pretty cool. That is a cool fact. I don't want to see stuff where like if you see
Or
something in a
choose
trailer because the trailer's so like so much more than the rest of the game. You don't want to be like, oh well, that was in the trailer. Oh, I can't do that. That's that sucks.
another path.
One of our big breakthroughs in this game is definitely this element of dynamic time, seasons, and weather. And we were kind of racking our brains with how to depict this in a trailer. And so one of the ways we thought about establishing their relationship was to kind of break the rules of time a lot. We're seeing them out of place a lot. They're seeing each other, but that might not be literally the first time they meet or lock eyes. And what we're seeing here really is kind of a culmination of both of their journeys.
Even though Yasuke has been on a journey as a fighter for Oda Nobunaga, does he think that this is the right thing to do? Now he's confronted to the destruction of province of Iga. So sort of a tying two worlds together at this point.
You done messed up,
In
Yasuke.
particular, the shot of them in the open field to us is really this moment out of time. It's them speaking to each other on a level that might not literally have ever happened, but it's really the moment that really brings them together. And just like a quick little note here for those eagle-eyed viewers, you'll notice that the split screen is slightly different here, which was once again a deliberate decision we made. The other one has a bit more of a slant to it, maybe a bit more aggressive, especially if you're familiar with like anime or manga codes, comic book codes. But here, flattening it out a little bit establishes that maybe the relationship is different. I don't want to speak too much about that, but given the time period of our game,
Yeah, this reminds me of definitely, like you said, comic book code. I don't know what code he's referring to, but I do get that. Obviously, if you see like a slash, you're kind of a bit more like, this is an aggressive scene. This is supposed to be a bit of more tension in the scene, right? And obviously, the more neutral 50%, it's just a visual. It's just it's a very subconscious visual thing that I think is self-explanatory. It just makes sense. It literally just makes sense, and I do like how they pay attention to small details like that. That uh give you a lot of information without saying anything, right?
unification is a really big deal. And I think the concept of unification can mean very different things to different people. And it definitely resonates differently for our two main characters.
And we must look for it together.
So what we're seeing here is that Naoe and Yasuke do have allies in the world. Like every good shinobi, she has access to a network of spies and people that can help her and trade for information. And we're seeing here is somebody giving her information on the whereabouts of the person that she's looking for. In the game, you can switch between both characters as you please. They do have a life when they're not played, so when you switch back characters, you can see them do something different.
Most of our black box level designs allow for both playstyles to work kind of perfectly, and you can choose the one that you prefer. If you want to go in and just be full of brawn, cut people down with Yasuke, you have that option. If you want to take a sneakier option, well, you'll see what that looks like in a second.
Cool.
Rebuild.
This is my favorite part, the wink.
A big thing we were pushing for in our trailer was to really humanize our protagonists. Real emotional stakes, make them feel like people you could actually see in real life, especially given that Yasuke is based off a real person. We wanted to be authentic, at least somewhat, to a full breadth of emotions that he.
Well, I mean, Oda Nobunaga is based on a real person too, right? And Naue might be a made up person as far as the game goes, but um, obviously the whole game is based around a real time period. So yeah, whether they're fictional characters or not, they're representing what would have been. Well, I'm not sure about Naue, but for Yasuke, it's up in the air, right? Naue could be a completely made up character. Yasuke, at least we know, is based off a real character. Yeah.
He could portray.
And follow the blade.
You know what's funny? I just noticed it's kind of weird, but my eyes just caught onto it. This piece of the armor on this side fades away into nothingness. It's not like this shoulder piece or whatever. It kind of like fades away into the background, like it's being like a I don't know,
He's
like
based off a real person.
watch when it starts
We wanted
moving.
to be authentic, at least
Okay.
somewhat, to a full breadth of emotions that he could portray.
See,
And
it like
follow
it was.
the
Anyways,
blade.
anyways,
We developed
the
quite
typical
a bit of
the typical Assassin's Creed hood pull from all the other Assassin's Creed ones that I haven't played.
new tools for Naui and stealth, and one of them is the grappling hook. And the grappling hook allows you to climb over walls that you cannot climb with Yasuke or without the hook, which opens different paths for Naoe. And there's quite a bit of hook points in the game, so within every layout that you're going to see, and sometimes to come in from a different entry point. So it's an integral part of their stealth arsenal, as she can navigate much faster into the open world.
And that's one of the big changes between Yasuke and Naoe. One of the key differences is her ability to take a much more vertical approach. And a lot of our locations are big castles, big tenshu's with these giant walls, and it offers her a whole new vantage point for a lot of these missions where Yasuke doesn't have necessarily the same opportunity.
Attention.
Now we can fight and hold her own against a few enemies, but she's not a big brawler like Yasuke is to take on a horde of enemies, right? She is light armored and she's quick and she's agile.
And that's definitely one of the key elements, her sheer speed. She's very, very quick and extremely lethal. But as soon as she's seen, the danger really rises for her, and she's got to get out of there as fast as possible.
Does she though? Looks like she was kicking butt, dude. Yasuke just bam.
Destruction in the game, Joe?
Yeah.
Are some things breakable in our game? Would you
she's
say?
breakable in the game. Part of our
She's
dynamic
breakable.
world and the dynamism that we created for Japan goes also in the low-level destruction. So the weapons that we put a lot of little technological breakthroughs for our weapons, where you can destroy a large amount of props in the game. You can see him plow through.
Hold on. Is Yasuke supposed to be holding his weapon here? Because he is definitely not holding his weapon here. Can I just, when we go back to that scene, do you see him? He's not holding his weapon here. Is it just me?
The Suji doors, you could, destroy a full market if you wanted with the Kenobo. Obviously, the goal is still not to break everybody's stuff. But Yasuke can do it, as well as Naoe, depending on the weapons they're using.
That's right. Yasuke's not the only one that can break through those shoji doors. Now he can assassinate people through them.
That's cool.
This is a weapon that Yasuke can carry around in the game. It's called a Kenobo. It's a very heavy weapon that does a lot of damage. It's a little bit of a slower weapon compared to katana, for example. But it is a weapon that brings a lot of destruction as Yasuke wields it. And Yasuke
no
is
kidding.
a strong man, so he is the perfect candidate to handle the Kenobo in the game.
I said, who do you serve?
The Kanabo, that's cool. Cool weapon.
We are the shadows.
That served the light.
I'll be completely honest. That line is super cringy. That line is kind of corny, but okay.
The hidden blade has two functions, so it can come out as a regular hidden blade, like for stabbing people. But now we can extrude the second portion and flip it so that she has a dual wield using a smaller weapon called a tanto. And
First of all, if these are real, like they work like this, that's sick. Like I get it, the blade shoots out the end and it can be straight, but then you can like shoot it out. Like all. Isn't this in other Assassin's Creed where they have them sort of like arm blade? You shoot it out and you can attack people, but like to shoot it out and then have some sort of like hinged weapon where you can hold it and like stab, bro. What? Get out of here, dude. That's cool as hell, man.
her hidden blade at the same time. So that's a very fast, damaging situation for most.
Dude, the little details, and like, you know, even in real life, when you look at Japanese feudal Japan samurai weapons, armor, etc., etc., there's so much detail. I love everything about that. Even Japan's culture today, I just love the culture. I just love Japanese people, and so I don't want to piss any Japanese people off by potentially liking this game. I just want to play the cool samurai games, man. Why does everything have to be a problem nowadays?
Most people that are fighting her at that time.
And what Joe touched on is something that I know fans have been wanting for a long time, to bring back hidden blade combat, like being able to just fight with your hidden blade. And we brought that back with the Tonto style. It's very cool, very fast. Once again,
Tonto.
very lethal in Naoe's hands.
Woo!
When it came to the name of the game, that was something I remember Joe talking about, making sure we had some sort of base into the original lore. And this line was always something that really stuck out with you. We put it in the trailer as well as a kind of punctuation, shadows. They are working in the shadows to serve the light, and that's always been the callback we wanted to conjure with this. Paired with that is also our renewed emphasis on stealth in this game. There are a lot of new mechanics we've added. There are a lot of really interesting tools we've given Nawe. I think for fans of stealth, you're going to be extremely pleased with some of the mechanics we've added into the
All
game.
right. You know
And
what?
on, a little bit on a meta level for both characters, Naui being a shinobi, but coming from a place that is not necessarily prominent or just at the forefront of the conflict, but a little bit more emerging back from the shadows. It fits with her. And Yasuke as well, coming from a background that's outside of Japan. They are lurking in the shadows, but they are doing so to protect the land. This is a very interesting narrative that will flow towards something pretty positive for us in the game and very satisfying in my opinion.
Okay.
Thank you so much for watching. Assassin's Creed Shadows is out November 15th, and we cannot wait to show you more.
And they will be showing us more with the full gameplay reveal that will be coming next month in June. Who knows when next month, but the word on the street is that that's going to be coming next month in June. I think that Tanto is really cool. I would love to learn more about uh, Japanese weapons, samurai weapons from that time period. Uh, Again, I just look at it with fascination. I'm a total fan, and so I don't want to draw hate towards myself because oh, you're not mad at Ubisoft like everybody else, man. I don't have time to be mad at people. I just, I just want to enjoy things, man. I just want to enjoy good things, and um, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Seems like every game that comes out is an issue. You know, on one hand or the other, a lot of games coming out you always hear and I get the 1,000 mile stare. Like I'm very over it. Like the whole, this game's woke, that game's woke, baby ain't this, DEI that, wokeism, woke. I don't care. Um, I'm so over it. You like the game or don't like the game. You know what I mean? Everything's a witch hunt nowadays, and I don't care for it. So I just want to talk about one of the last things they mentioned. Stealth. They're bringing back stealth in the game, and my brain immediately went back to the days when Tom Clancy's uh, is it Ghost Splinter Cell. I was about to say Ghost Recon. It's Splinter Cell. Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell. Um, wow, there was a free download to download that game on Steam. I think it was on Steam, and I went back and played it. This was like maybe like within the last like year or two. Went back and played it. I'm like, God, that game looks bad. But I can remember when I was a kid how many that game just sticks out as a game in my memory where I can remember having so many intense moments, stealth, waiting for the patrols to go by, finding out how to, who to take down first when you're infiltrating bases. Stealth in Splinter Cell introduced me to kind of like the genre of stealth games and how methodical you have to be. And whether it's a game or real life, I am a very methodically brained person. I like to break things down, and strategy is a big thing in games that I like. I have always liked RTS games. Obviously, strategy is at the forefront of RTS games. Whether it's Age of Empires when I was a kid, or it was Warcraft or StarCraft, which I got to almost Grandmaster, and I was 3 seasons at the top of my Masters group, or even the strategy that is applied to FPS games, right? It's still strategy. Um, it's just a different, you know, both games share strategy. It doesn't matter how they do it at their core, they share strategy, and so I super like that. And this game, I feel like is going to have combat situations where you do have to think, do I want to go in with Yasuke? Do I want to go in stealth with Naue? Do I want to maybe do this part with Yasuke? Do this part with Naue? Um, I want to say that this game needs to have a chance to live and breathe. So the people, the fans, the people who are being judgmental, or the people who are waiting for it or not waiting for it, or whatever, can actually see if the game is good or not, based on its gameplay. Not based on we don't like it because you put a black dude in it. You know, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a conversation that I feel like you could just argue with people till you go blue in the face, and it's just not going to benefit either one of you. So I try to just you know, it's hard to have a conversation that is when you have contentious or differentiating opinions. when most people don't even know how to respect people that have a differentiating opinion from them. So that's why having a conversation with most people doesn't really entice me because, most people, a lot of people, if you don't see it their way, you are the enemy, basically. It's unfortunate, but that's the way a lot of people are. So, for all you who want to just stay on the side of educating each other, and even if it comes to differentiating opinions, at least being able to respect each other, I welcome you into my comments, and I welcome you into everything else I'm doing, my stream and everything. If you want to come by and say, hey, please do. I can't wait till this game comes out. I probably will be getting it. My birthday, like I said, is 1 month later in December, and a samurai game, whether you like the main character or not, a samurai game, one of the main characters, a samurai game close to my birthday, feudal Japan, AAA game, gonna look pretty. Unless there's something about the gameplay that I really hate, I'm probably gonna try it out. So, I can't wait. Let me know what you guys think. If you can't wait for it, whether you hate it, whether you think it's stupid that Yasuke is even in the game or not, let me know in the comments. Speak your piece, and can't wait to see it. So, if you like reactions like this, if you like content like this, please, as always, like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.